Craig and Kathleen Deeringer
Hello.
here. We just completed an episode of Zizix. It's a local public access show. It's an issues-oriented show where they take a look at some of the things that are going on in our area. And what we dealt with was CPS Reform and the state of things in the CPS system right now. We actually had a very good show. We got a lot of facts and information out, but we had to breeze over a lot of stuff. And what we'd like to do here with this follow-up is to give you a little bit more insight and a little more information that we didn't get a chance to put on because of time constraints. And we had to be very focused and very specific in our presentation because we only had 30 minutes. And so we'd like to focus on one thing. I'd like to say it's money, but it's more than just money. We touched upon the idea that the CPS system has to go out and find funds in order to make their jobs last. In California, in 2001-2002, child placements were increased 140%, which resulted in bonuses of several $1 million in the coffers of the counties. Because of that, the following year they were just as aggressive, and they topped their performance, and every time they top their performance they get more bonuses. And so again they got several $1 million for their bonuses in that subsequent year. And starting in 2003-2004 fiscal year on up, they weren't hitting those bonuses. I think it's because they were so aggressive in the numbers. They were turning over so many it was almost impossible for them to surpass the numbers. In order to get a bonus at this point, CPS would have to place well over 2,000 children. Where are those 2,000 children going to come from? Many of the kids in the system are not placeable. They will not go into a good home. And these have to be children from 9 years old on up for them to get this bonus money. So that tells me that there's a focus
On money. Which one thing I'd like to interject here, if I might, Gerald.
Absolutely.
It's estimated, and this report was written in 2004, February 2004. It says it's estimated at this time that there were 75,000 children in the country's foster care and adoptive homes that were needlessly placed on a system that's more dangerous than the homes from which the children were taken. Some officials and critics say state and federal laws create financial incentives for taking children from their parents because county government receives $30,000 to $150,000 annually.
Okay, now did you hear that?
And per child.
Per child.
In state and federal funds for each child.
$30,000 to $150,000.
Every child placed in foster care.
Now, let's take a look at those numbers that I just gave you a little while ago. Over 2,000 placed. Over 2,000. I believe the number was 2,248 children. Over 2,000 kids at up to $150,000. Can you do the math?
The numbers have doubled, actually, according to my data. We had 400 and something thousand children in the system. I don't have it here handy, but it was 800 and something thousand 3 years later. So it doubled. It more than doubled.
800 and something thousand kids.
If you need
now,
the exact numbers, I can find them.
This bonus money comes to them when they do the placements. Now, you're talking about 2,000 kids that need to be placed in homes. Where are those kids coming from? Are there enough placeable kids in the system for them to meet that quota? I say
no. I don't think so. No.
So,
they have to steal children.
They have to come take children. They have to take your child.
From school. And yours too.
They have to take your child because your child is worth thousands of dollars to them.
Figured $10,000 a month.
Minimum. We don't know for sure what they're claiming with her. They could be getting anywhere from $10,000 to $16,000 a month for her daughter. So, I mean, come on. Isn't it obvious what's going on here? Isn't it obvious that in order to keep their jobs and keep the funding for their jobs, that they need to create more work? Well, not only that, but as they do this, they're creating a need for more social workers.
That's true. And they get bonuses, I believe, when they actually adopt out the child also. And I don't know how much this, somewhere I had read it was 200,000. So I'm not sure on that. We're going to have to verify numbers. But I think that the point is that they're getting, this is all driven about money. Okay, we can back up whatever the data is and how much. It's the point. There's supposed to be child welfare services. What's in the best interest of the child? And this is all just focused about money. And they're damaging these children.
And that's the bottom line.
Drugging them.
The children are being bought and sold. Bought and sold. And our federal government is buying them, and CPS is selling them.
In 2006, 21 states qualified for $11.6 million in adoption incentives. Right here. We don't have the numbers yet for
Adoption
2007
incentives. What does an incentive mean? An incentive means I want you to do something, so I'm going to give you a reason to do it.
That's right.
They are giving them an incentive to place the children. They don't have the children to place. They need to get the children to place. Therefore, the incentive to place is the incentive to take. Do you see how that comes full circle?
Right. They're taking away our family rights, violating our civil rights. Okay, I'm going to give you some real numbers here. This is adapted, I think, from 2006. Actually, okay, 2003. The incentive formula was to revise to provide payments in 4 categories. A state may receive a maximum of $8,000 per child. But again, if they adopt them out, then they get additional incentives. Okay, they get $4,000 for each child in foster care adopted above the established baseline of children adopted from foster care.
Okay, now, hold on. That $4,000 above the baseline. In other words, what I was telling you about California having to hit a certain quota, every child over that quota, in addition to the money that they already get, and in addition to the placement money, there is a quota. If you hit that number, you get $4,000 additional for each child.
And $2,000 additional if they're on psychotropic medication, which explains why more than 2/3 of the children are on psychotropic medication, and in some cases as many as 17 different medications.
And why are they on these medications? Because a radiologist prescribes them?
In some cases, yes. Yes. They get $6,000 for each child in foster care adopted whom the state classifies as having special needs. And as you know, they probably have a lot of them that are special needs.
Special needs, what? ADHD?
IEP, educational, perhaps.
So, now, how many kids do we have in our educational system that are ADHD, ADD?
Most children.
I mean, come on. You go out and drive on the streets and you tell me that we don't have at least 50% of the drivers out there with ADHD or ADD.
That would be me.
I mean, come on.
8,000, this is the kicker. This is why they're now going after the older children. And when Clinton put this in effect in 1996, this is not what he had in mind.
Hillary's wife, or husband.
It was devised to help these older children because the older children were harder to place. So he offered more money to them. Basically, he put a bounty on them.
Yeah, which it's good to have the incentive to place the older children because the older children need to come out of the system to close down the system, not to make the system bigger.